Well, hello there. Good morning. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. I know I'm looking a little fancy here today, and I have to tell you about that. Welcome to Take a Break with Breeda. My name is Breeda Miller, and I just want to welcome you into my home for a cuppa and a chat and just some thoughts and ideas that might help coping with this crazy world that we're all living in of COVID-19. So, you may have noticed that I'm looking kind of, dressed up. I got a little bit more makeup on and my fancy professional clothes, even Spanx. Okay, I know that's too much information. And I will be flipping off the flip-flops today and putting on grown-up shoes because today is the day that I'm going into the studio to record a story. And it's a story that is very dear to me, and it will be part of the Big Hearted Stories event that I've mentioned to you, but I'm excited about it. And gosh, it has evolved, and that's the word, is, we're not going to say bummer, it's not what we thought it was going to be, but we're making the best of it. And really, that's what we have to do. We have to make the best of it, because this whole situation is horrible. It is awful. It's frightening. The unknown, I think, is one of the hardest things. I think about that time when we're in limbo, when you're waiting to hear the results of a medical diagnosis test. When you're waiting to hear, are you approved for a mortgage? When you're waiting to hear, did you get the job? And you just don't know how to feel because you want to be excited, but you want to protect yourself. So I like to use the words cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic when you're trying something new. And let's face it, we're trying something new every single day. And so today I just want to share with you a little bit about how sometimes the change can make something better, but different for sure, but maybe better than we had ever imagined. So the original idea for this event was a live event on the main stage at the Michigan Theater, a beautiful classic theater with 6 local storytellers telling pretty cool stories about their experiences in their life. And they're short, so each story is 10 minutes or less. But the diversity in the speakers, the stories, their approach, the message is just wonderful. So we were excited about it. Now, as a storyteller, one of the wonderful things is when you tell it to an audience is you get the energy from the audience. And it lets you know you're on track, that this makes sense, that they like it. They're smiling, hopefully. They're nodding. They might even be laughing. Those are all really good things, and they really help a storyteller do a good job. So today will be an interesting experience because I will be recording my story. There will be maybe 3 or 4 people in the audience, other storytellers. So there will not be this big audience for that kind of energy. But all the audience members are wearing masks. So I won't know if they're smiling or if they're liking it. I'm going to be looking for a couple of nodding heads, I hope. So that's going to be a different experience for me. But yesterday I got a phone call, and at first I thought, oh no, this is what I've been dreading, because we've been very, very careful with all of the prep and the planning for this event. All of our meetings have been virtual through Zoom, and all of our storytellers are of a certain age, and so we've been really careful to make sure everyone stays safe and is able to participate. So what we figured out was that we will record these stories in advance, and then the event itself will go live with a live host, and then click to the recorded stories, just so you know how it's going to work. Inside scoop. Anyway, one of the storytellers called me Sunday about noon to tell me that she had been exposed to COVID. And it was an indirect exposure. She had no symptoms. She was feeling fine. But she's such a wonderful person and so conscientious. She wanted to make sure that she didn't put all of us at risk. And you know, she took a risk when she called me, because, you know, I might have had to say, gee, that's too bad, you won't be able to be in the program. But we started to talk it through. And let me just say the other thing, the reason that she was exposed was that she was doing something really heroic. She lives in a complex, an apartment complex, condos, and there's a center courtyard, and a person who was having a medical emergency had left their car running unattended. And my storyteller saw this and knew that there were a lot of children that play in that open space where that car is left running unattended. She ran out of her house to turn the car off and went back in her house. Then she learned that the person who owned the car was COVID positive. So by being present in his vehicle, touching the ignition, she had exposed herself potentially to the virus. So she called to tell me this, and we strategized, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to record the storytellers, all masked except for the one who's on the stage telling the story today, in the beautiful space that we have set up with just ourselves. And then we're going to take the video crew and myself, and we're going to go to the storyteller's home. And outside, there's a big tree. I think she said there was a rock. We'll find a nice spot, and she'll tell her story, and we'll record it, and it will be part of this event. And this is a wonderful example of being flexible, being adaptive, being kind, and thinking of others first. And that's what she did. She thought of the rest of us and not potentially exposing us to something that, you know, we're hoping and praying that she is just fine. It's not a high level of risk, but nonetheless, it's present and she's aware of it. So I just say that to you, that when you get frustrated and you think, oh, we have to change the wedding, or we can't go see that show, or I just want to go to a nice restaurant and be served a meal that I don't have to clean up, those days will be back. They will look different. But right now, we have to take care of each other. So my friend Kim Becking, she does wonderful inspirational and motivational things. And she's been posting a lot lately about being the love. Being the love. And I think it was Gandhi who said, be the change that you seek in this world. So today is Monday, and what can you do this week to be the change that you seek? Because we sure need change. We need love more than anything else. So be kind with each other. If people are rude, if they're snarky, if they are being just disagreeable, give them some space. Give them grace. You don't need to engage. You don't need to convince anyone and get into an argument. But I think the best thing we can do is teach by example. Teach by example. Be the love. And it's not always easy. And in your heart, you know, like the people going on the Japanese roller coaster, you might be screaming inside your heart. That's okay. Then let it out when you get home in a safe spot, or go for a walk, or take a bath, or do something that is kind. Because when I say be the love, I don't mean just to everybody else, but show some love to yourself. Recognize that this is a stressful time. Lower your expectations about what you expect about your ability to do things, and save it all up so that when it's crunch time, when you have to deliver, that you're going to be able to, because you have been taking care of yourself. So self-care is not selfish. So that's what I'm thinking about today. I'm getting ready to head out the door. Wish me well. It's a story that is called Apple Pie. And to bring me, I mean, my mom is always with me, as you know, in my heart, always. But I'm wearing a ring today that was one of her most precious possessions. When she was leaving Ireland in the 1950s, her aunt took this ring off of her finger and said, "Here, Mary, take this with you to America." And it's an opal. And what's interesting about it is it's very, very old. And when my aunt gave it to my mom in 1957, it was probably 50 years old then. So it's really old now. And it's still perfect. You know, opals are fragile stones. But this has been loved and cared for and treasured. And it has survived. So maybe we'll think of this as a good representation of all of us, that we can be fragile, we're certainly beautiful, and but if we can treasure each other and care for each other, that we can survive this, just as this lovely old ring has. So with that, I wish you well. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and be the love. Be the love. This is Breeda Miller. This has been Take a Break with Breeda. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I'm really looking forward to having this recording be successful and be over, and removing the Spanx. Just saying. Have a great day. I will see you soon.